All right. Hey, good morning, folks. Lone Coach Kelly bringing you this episode of North Coast Coffee Chats. And I've got my partner in crime with me here.
David West, your solar best.
Yes, sir, buddy. So as members of North Coast Networking Group, we are a business networking organization. We get together and we meet every Thursday. We talk about business. We're all entrepreneurs. We're exclusive members who are trying to help each other grow our businesses. And with the support of Max Lux Media and their showroom, we decided to put together North Coast Coffee Chats and grab our members, come together for a cup of coffee, talk a little bit about their business and how they support the community with their business. And so today we've got a special guest on with us, Joe Markowitz of Dream Home Cinema. Joe, welcome.
Hi, how are you guys?
Pretty good, buddy, pretty good. Glad to have you on the show today. So I've known Joe for, 10 plus years probably. I coached Joe's son, Ben, in Little League Baseball back in the day. Joe and I, we used to cross paths all the time in these real estate caravan events. And Joe's been a hustler for many years, just as I have. And when you hustle on the streets of Carlsbad and Encinitas long enough, you run across good people and you become friends. And so my friend Joe is with us today. So Dave, let's kick this one off and let's put Joe in the hot seat today.
All right. Ready, Joe?
I'm ready.
Okay. So just for the viewers that don't know much about you, tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey, coming not only from the east all the way to the west, ending up in North County, and ultimately building and running your business.
Cool. So I came out here originally in 1992 and for really a vacation, and had a really great friend that lived here that I've known from the East Coast. Grew up in Philadelphia and basically fell in love with the place because I'm an outdoors person. I like biking and tennis and all the outdoor kind of sports activities. And just packed up my stuff, moved out in May of '92, came out, got a job, and started working.
And so at that time, you were just single, lone soldier?
Yeah, I was single. Yep, not married, and
Okay.
was like 28 years old, and rear and have fun.
Packed up and made a life change.
Exactly.
That's a big life change too, Philadelphia to San Diego.
It definitely is.
Little culture shock, huh?
Little culture shock, kind of beach mentality instead of East Coast working
blue
mentality.
collar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It was cool.
Cool. Well, so then you came out here, and what were you doing? Did you have a job lined up? Were you in a career path already? Or?
Yeah, so I was already in a career path. I was in the occupational rehab field.
Okay.
And I came out and like within I didn't have a job when I came out, so but I had been working in the field for a long time, for like 5 or 6 years already. So when I came out, I went looking for a job, and about 3 weeks later I had a job. And then just flew back, packed my stuff, came back out here and just started doing that job. And over the period of probably about 10 or 12 years, I progressed in that healthcare field to do marketing and management and sales of surgery centers, PT centers, and MRI centers. And when you're the marketing person doing that, after about 4 or 5 years, a lot of companies will lay you off because they don't want to pay you.
Sure.
So
you're too seasoned, now you're
too
expensive.
seasoned and I'm expensive. And so then I decided, after each lapse of being employed, I would go and work at Circuit City. And back then it was commission shop. And I loved working there, and the people were nice, and people were happy when I was, when I was done with them, selling equipment and electronics. And after about the third round of that, I was like, I'm done with healthcare. I think I can go and make a living doing electronics and home theaters and networking and whole house audio. And so that's what I did. I started my own business, and that was in 2002, and never really looked back.
Nice.
Wow.
20 years.
20 years.
Circuit City, haven't heard that in a while. That's
Yeah, and they were like the premier shop before Best Buy came in, and
Fry's came in.
And kind of wrecked the whole field.
Yeah.
Really.
Radio Shack.
Yeah, Radio Shack was
like the
still
small
good.
guy,
They were
just a
good
little
because
guy.
they were a commission shop too. But Best Buy had a different model where they just wanted to bring people in and flat rate them, and that's basically what happened. And they put out Circuit City, and then here we are.
Yeah.
You know, they're the only one left.
I remember I bought my first car stereo from Circuit City.
Yep.
My 1984 Volkswagen Vanagon.
That's funny.
Brown machine, baby.
But the stereo worked really
Stereo
good.
was tight, baby. The boom box in the back, everything, man. It was lights out.
So 10 years after you moved out here, you started your own business.
Yeah.
What challenges did you face getting started? Like it's not easy to transition such a different, I mean, you kind of got your feet wet a little bit with Circuit City, but what challenges do you face kind of now starting your own business and forging your own path?
So the main challenge was getting business to begin with. And when I started my business, what I did in the first year was I stayed at Circuit City. And I built my business based on the first customers through Circuit City. So
nice.
I would convert business from Circuit City for about a year.
Okay.
And that's how I built like the top, 50 or 60 clients. And then from there, then you can pretty much leave. And then, I had a base of clients, and then I went after new customers. And basically ever since then, it's pretty much been business by referral.
Yeah.
I tried print ad and a number of other avenues, and it's not really productive use of resources.
Yeah, you're kind of I wouldn't say you're a niche product, but you're kind of like what you do, you can do in so many different verticals. So you got to know Joe to know what Joe can do for you. Like it's hard to just promote yourself without knowing you, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And they get to know, how I do installs and how I work. And that's really the main reason, like any really good business, is you have the person of value.
Yeah.
And that's how I built my business.
Yeah. Big time relationship driven.
Yeah.
So you do some super cool stuff. We've seen you in action for years. Obviously, you've done some work for me, so I've seen you hard at work. But like, what are some of the things that you love the most about what you do?
Oh, well, so the thing I like most about what I do is to see the excitement of the customer and the client while and during the install, and then mostly after the install and they start using their system. That's the most exciting thing for me. But how do we get there? That's the important thing.
Yeah.
And really that has to do with talking and listening to what your client really wants and what their vision is. And that's where I start. And then once I have an idea of what they want to accomplish in terms of audio and video and home theater and surround sound system and audio and video in their home, or maybe doing a backyard project, then we talk about equipment and I give them a proposal, and that's how we get from point A to point B to do the project.
So your customer kind of gives you this like napkin scratch idea, and you turn around and create it into an architectural blueprint, and you go, "Here's what we're going to do for you."
Yep, that's exactly.
Yeah.
And they have an estimate or a project quote, and along with the quote is a design, and they also get all the information on all the equipment and then how we're going to actually do the install, because it's important that they understand that first it doesn't happen in one day.
Yeah.
In most cases, especially if it's surround sound or a dedicated theater, and it's a process. And the one thing I make it really clear for them is when I'm done, you will be completely happy, and that I won't leave until that is.
Yeah.
And that's how I work, because I want my customers really happy, and I want them to know how to use their system, because the most important thing is not the equipment. It's really the customer experience in using their system.
Yeah.
Whether it's whole house audio or a surround sound theater or just a TV with a sound bar. They have to know how to use it, and if they don't, then their satisfaction with what I did doesn't really resonate.
Yeah, I've heard many stories about technology is becoming so overwhelmingly complicated these days. And like, if you have a surround sound system and you have a TV and you have, something else in your setup, you could have 3 or 4 remote controls just to turn power on to things. And you're just like, what am I doing with all this stuff?
Yep.
And like in my house, you've made it completely simple. Like I literally have one remote control. I have one that turns volume up and down, and I have one control that controls everything else. And so it's you certainly made it helpful for me, and my 7-year-old can master that. So we're in good shape.
Can change the Alexa name and
yes, they figured out how to change Alexa's name. I don't know what her name is anymore, so I can't even listen to what I want to. But
yeah, and usually our kids can control most of this stuff better than we can and quicker.
That's right. They learn it after like one showing, and it takes me like 4.
Yeah. So you're pretty much a one-man show, one-man stop for, taking someone's vision for what they want to experience in their home and making it reality, right?
Yes.
What does that process look like, and ultimately, what does it look like for the future to come? Like, do you have goals to extend your business, or just keep it referral? You got Joe; he's going to be the one that takes care of you.
So for me, I think I will keep my company small. The main reason for that is I find that as you expand, you lose quality and you lose control. And what I want is I'm looking for high dollar customers and quality. I'm not looking for volume.
Yeah.
I've seen, over the last 20 years, I've seen a lot of businesses that are in my field, they go out of business because as soon as there's a downturn in the economy, all those people that are working for them go out of business. So the more overhead they have whenever there's a challenge in the industry, they fall away. And what I want is I want to have customers that are happy, that use me all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be chasing new business all the time because all I did was do an install that was mediocre and now I'm on to the next one. That's not my model. My model is to keep my customers happy.
And then, happy customers create more customers.
More referrals.
And that's really the way you build an entrepreneurial, self-employed, small mom and pop shop business.
Yep.
And many small mom and pop shop businesses flourish for many, many years. And you're entering into year 22, 23 almost.
Exactly.
Of your business.
Yep.
And you've done it by 100% word of mouth.
Yes.
I mean, obviously your van is driving around town all day and people see you all the time and your logo is popping.
Yep.
So
and I've had referrals from my van, and it's funny that you say that because in the beginning I did print ad, and then I compared print ad to my van referrals, and I actually was receiving more referrals from people seeing my van than print ad that I spent a lot more money on. So then I realized okay, referrals are more of a networking thing, and not really just print ad.
And I think seeing you drive around town, it's like, oh, that's Joe, that's his van.
Yes.
I gotta call Joe.
Actually, it was funny. One of my customers said to me one time, oh, do you have like 4 or 5 vans? I was like, no, I have one. Why do you ask? Oh, because I see your van everywhere.
I'm following you.
I said, yeah, that's me driving around.
Sometimes when I don't have work, I just drive for fun. Just to see my van.
So what is, we just mentioned, technology is really evolving quickly. And kids are being able to use the home better than most parents and everyone can. What does the future of the industry look like? From what you've seen over the last 20 years and what's to come over the next 5 to 10 years?
So I think what I see coming down the road is mainly in the form of control of your systems. And the reason I tell you that is that a lot of the systems today are not voice controlled yet. And so I think what we're going to see over the next 5 to 10 years is the voice control automation of amplifiers and any type of streaming device. We're already seeing it with like an Apple TV. You can use Siri and control what it does. You can tell it, okay, open an app or, something like that. Open Netflix and it'll open it up and can, watch it. The problem is that you can't control all your equipment yet.
Yeah.
So like amplifiers that run surround sound don't really have voice control yet. And so that's one avenue I see changing and improving. And a lot of integrators like myself, they fear that because they think it's going to change what you can sell or what profit you're going to have. For me, I've never kind of worried about that because there's always going to be the need for the integration, the customization, and there's going to be a paid way eventually to monetize voice control. Because as the voice control avenue gets more lucrative, more people are going to move into that field, and there's going to be more technology associated with that.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the areas I see movement.
I love that mentality of just, I'm not going to resist change because it's going to happen inevitably.
Right.
Might as well evolve with it.
Right.
Now, what about mind control? Just control it with your mind.
I don't think that
TV.
I don't think that's happening for at least 20 or 30 years. But I think that's a function of government.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the thing, and I think that's why even voice control has come so slowly, is because it's been regulated. They don't want technology to get ahead of laws, and we already see that in a lot of social kind of media and apps and things like that. So that's the limiting factor.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. You can sit here and have a conversation about, hey, let's, what are you going on vacation this summer? I don't know. We're thinking about, Hawaii or Barbados or, Puerto Rico, whatever. And then 2 hours later, you look at Facebook and what pops up on your Facebook page? Vacations and Barbados is right there. You're like, what in the hell?
And
I might have said that word once in my life and it was 10 minutes ago and now it's on my Facebook feed.
Yeah. And my wife's all the time, she's like, oh yeah, Facebook and Amazon, they're listening on my phone. I'm like, yeah, they are listening in.
Alexa or whatever hears everything you say.
That's funny.
So Joe, so Dream Home Cinema and Computer, right? You kind of encapsulate home audio. You're a guru with computers and helping people set up their technology and rigging up their Wi-Fi networks to be able to run across multiple zones and things like that. Dive into your gamut. Let's talk real quick to the audience about your gamut of services. Tell our audience what can Joe do for you?
Cool. So starting with the audio video side, what I can do for you is I can do anything from just installing a TV and a soundbar to dedicated home theaters, family room surround sound systems. I also do whole house audio systems that are controllable by your phone and also by voice control. I also get into backyard systems. So we do rock speakers and outdoor audio systems, outdoor TVs. And then we branch out into computers and wiring of hard connections or wired Ethernet for homes and businesses that are under construction, so new construction. I'll do pre-wires for that. Okay. I'll also do rewires in homes because a lot of homes don't have computer internet networks that are wired.
Got it.
Because without wiring, you can't really do a really sound Wi-Fi system in a home because Wi-Fi to Wi-Fi to Wi-Fi is not real great.
Sure.
You really want to have it wired to each of the access point locations, and then you install an access point that broadcasts the Wi-Fi. And then it's a lot more sound, and that's really important for audio video control. So that's pretty much the gamut. I do get into computers a little bit. I don't do the hardware side. It's pretty much software and viruses and helping customers purchase new computers, install them, set them up. That's the forte. I like doing it on the computer side.
Got it. So in lieu of going to Best Buy and hiring Geek Squad, you can call Joe Markowitz at Dream Home Cinema. You can put in an order for a computer, get it delivered, come out to your house, do the install, network it to your printer and your server and all those kinds of things.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Full service, from purchase to install. to make sure it works with the business system, and also if you have a home system.
Solid.
Yep.
I think that's awesome that you have such a wide variety and you're so well knowledgeable about it, because I think so often people think, oh, I can just set up a TV and speakers and I'll just get them off Amazon. It's easy, right? But to actually do it like the way that it's going to be very convenient and a great experience, like you said, requires knowledge about that and actually doing it the right way. So thanks for just making sure everyone is always, you're being the expert in the home, helping them get set up the right way. But to balance all of that and just have all that knowledge with also having a family and biking and tennis, how do you counterbalance all of that in your life?
Well, it's not always easy, that I will say. Early on when I started my business, it was really difficult because I would work during the day, and I was always what we call the drop off and pick up person.
Yeah.
And so what I had to do is drop my kids off at school, then I would work till like maybe 3, and then I'd have to go pick them up. So I had to, it was nice having my own business because I basically worked my schedule around, taking care of my kids. So from that standpoint, that was number one priority, and then work. So, that's how I kind of balanced that type of schedule. As my kids got older, then I was able to put in the mix stuff for myself, during the earlier years, and also, the elementary school and the middle school years, a lot of kids are doing a lot of sports, so I did that with them a lot. So, whenever I had a moment, I might get a bike ride in, but it was sporadic. Or maybe a friend would call me and I'd go play a tennis game. I always tried to mix in a little bit of distraction.
Yeah.
Because you really need to get away from your area of expertise. Otherwise, you kind of get stale. And I didn't want it to become stale. I wanted to be kind of fresh and excited about what I do. And the best way to do that is to get away from it a little bit.
Yeah.
And so that's how I would kind of balance life.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I mean, it's healthy mind makes for healthy business,
Yeah.
right? Like you can't be so stagnated into 24/7 mindset, work.
Right.
But as a father or a mother with young kids and being an entrepreneur, like your kids' lives oftentimes override your lives to a certain point, that until you get to a period in life where all of a sudden you create some time for yourself. I've been there, done that, right? Like, with my 3 kids,
Yep.
3 sports all season long, you're like, okay, where are we going? Who's got game? Who's got practice? Who's driving who, where, when, what time, what day? Like, it just becomes divide and conquer.
Yes, it does. It becomes a scheduling juggernaut.
It's like a Tetris match on your calendar.
Kind of like a pinball machine,
Just getting
The
tossed
only
around.
problem is you're the ball.
That's right. Just boom, 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 anywhere and everywhere. So Joe, you came out here. You grew up on the East Coast. You came to the West Coast. You had a job. You had a career path. You decided that career path wasn't the one for you. You became an entrepreneur. You've been an entrepreneur, self-employed, 22 years in the business. Like, why? Like, why did you go down that path? Why did you leave the corporate America healthcare marketing path to go be Joe Markowitz, Dream Home Cinema Computers, self-employed entrepreneur?
That's a great question. And for me, it was kind of a progression. So when I was growing up, my dad was a laborer. And he saw the way he struggled in working for other people. And so he always wanted his kids to have a really good education. So he always pushed to have us go to school and get an education, go to college, get a degree, get a good corporate job, and you wouldn't have to kind of use your hands. You use your brain and your mind, and kind of do that. And so that was my path, and my brother did the same thing, and my sister kind of did the same thing in graphic design. And I just felt that I got to a certain point in the healthcare business that I kept hitting a ceiling on what others in the corporate world were willing to pay me. And I didn't want to have that limitation on myself because I knew I was always a go-getter. And so that was kind of stifling. And my hobby from an early age was electronics. And so I just decided like I could either stay where I was, be unhappy, and have other people sealing out what I was going to earn, or I could go into my passion and open a business and be unlimited in pretty much every way. Now, I'm not saying what education I got didn't help, because that was a good way of teaching me how to do deals and do the business side of my business, accounting and all that kind of stuff. But the thing that the main reason was I like dealing with people and I like closing deals. And that's the most exciting part of my job. A lot of people would think it's the install, but it's actually working with people, talking to them, getting an idea of where they're at, and then closing, a deal.
The art of the sell.
Yeah, and that's really for me the most important thing.
That's cool. That's cool. I mean, talking to a couple of salesmen right here, like there's definitely a seller's high, man. Like you get another level going in your adrenaline when you are on the line pitching a deal and someone says, "I like what you're selling. Like, let's go." You're like, "Bam!
Exactly.
Let's do this. Like, go."
I really liked what you said about stifling. I think that's like just knowing about your dad and just how he kind of worked super hard to put you and your siblings up for success, and just knowing that feeling of working hard and getting paid what you're worth.
Yep.
I love that. That's kind of what has driven you to get to where you're at.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we hear a fairly common theme with a lot of our NCNG members when they talk about like how they got into their professions and where they've progressed from, and a lot of it is exactly that same comment. Is just like, look, I don't want a ceiling. Like, don't tell me what I can and I can't do. Like, I'm going to do whatever I want, and I'm going to make as much money as I possibly want to, and no one's going to stop me from doing that except for me. And when you work in the corporate world, there's a lot of roadblocks to ever getting to that next level of where you feel you should get to. And
yep. And it's sad because a lot of times it's really sometimes not you. Sometimes it's just another person deciding that they don't want you doing that, or they don't want you progressing that way for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to be stopped from doing that from somebody else.
Yeah, a lot of times it becomes political too in some of those big
Exactly.
companies. It's not because you can't do it. It's because somebody doesn't want you to do it because
Absolutely.
they don't want to see you. Oh, whoa, wait a minute, I'm threatened now. This guy is really good. Like, when's he going to take my seat? Like,
Yes.
you kind of get
And
people
that's
hold you down.
And you're right. And that's exactly the reason I left.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Seen it, heard it. So, Joe, you're here with us on North Coast Coffee Chats. You've been a resident in Carlsbad area for 20 years?
30 years.
30 years?
Yeah.
So where's your coffee spot? Where would you go for a coffee in the morning?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. I like a few places. The number one would be probably the Better Buzz down in Encinitas along the coast.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it because it's near the coast. I can do my walk, and they have pretty good coffee.
Yep.
And I like being down there.
Cool.
That's-
What's your blend? What's your flavor? What do you
Oh,
order?
my blend. I guess I'm old fashioned. I kind of like Italian roast,
Yeah.
or Colombian. That's my thing. I don't like flavored coffee.
Gotcha.
I guess I'm an East Coaster.
Yeah.
I like traditional things.
There you go.
That's very East Coasty. So, one, thanks for just coming on here today. It's been such an amazing experience to get to know you more. Where can people that are watching learn more about you? Where can they find you, your website, social media, your phone number? Where can people reach out and learn more about Joe and get your services?
Yep. So there's a lot of places that people can do that. The first place is they can call me. They can see my truck. I'm kind of a traditionalist that way, but I'm a realist. So I have a Facebook presence. I have an Instagram handle. I have a Twitter handle. And although I don't do intense social media advertising yet or presence. I'd like to do that more, so I'm working on that. I have a website, and it's at www.dreamhomecinema.com. And I'm actually moving my website forward. It's going to become www.dhcac.com.
There you go.
And we're in process of doing that. And then all the websites will point to that website.
Cool.
Because I've changed the name of the business from Dream Home Cinema to Dream Home Cinema and Computer.
Got it.
And so we want to kind of migrate everything into a new website.
Sweet.
So that's where we're at.
Well, there you have it, folks. Joe Markowitz, Dream Home Cinema and Computer, for all of your home computer, audio, backyards, which Joe did mine, and I'm absolutely in love with it. I sit in my hot tub, I turn on the Dodgers games and blare out some country music and just kick back. And this dude absolutely made my backyard a place to just chill. And so I encourage you, if you've got any projects around your house or outdoors that you want to enjoy your home even better, call Joe. Joe, thanks for chatting with us today. It was a pleasure to get to have you on the show. And for all of you watchers, again, we are all members of North Coast Networking Group. We are a local entrepreneur-minded networking group where our goal is to bring like-minded individuals together to create referrals, help each other grow business, and create long-lasting, strong bonds. Like Joe and I have been together for almost 10 years with our relationship, and it's been gelled by our networking. And so
Been great.
If you're interested in joining forces with folks like us, being a part of a networking group and growing your business, check us out at www.northcoastnetworkinggroup.com. On our website, you can find all the bios of every member of our group. Today, we're almost 40 members large and constantly looking for our next referral partners to join the group. So thanks for tuning in. We do meet every Thursday, 7 a.m. to 8:30. Breakfast is on us, so come join us at least once. Check it out. And again, this episode today is brought to you by Max Lux Media and our folks for hosting us. Cheers to you guys. Thanks for having a great studio and putting out great productions. Love working with you guys. Until next time, happy chatting with you.
Happy chatting.